Hi, here I am, Bruce. Hello, I'm in the forest, and thanks a lot for tuning in, watching the video. Hope it's all great. Anyway, as you know, I like to talk about somebody, something, and then kind of discuss an idea for a minute or two. First I'm going to talk about today is a guy named Byrne Walter. Byrne, B-E-R-N-D, Walter. I met Byrne in 1975 or 1976, quite a long time ago. And he was at my family restaurant. He was there with a group of people, and he was really a great guy. And he's from Toronto, I think. And he had a place in Cape Breton Island, and it was kind of on the beach, but really it was a big bit of land that extended through to the beach, and it was a big sign up. It's called the Banana Farm. And you know, they didn't farm bananas, that's for sure. And they weren't bananas. They were a group of people. They were lovely. And Byrne was actually a lawyer, and he went on to become later in his career. He was a job called the child advocate for the province of Alberta, and then later I think he became the child advocate for the province of British Columbia, and it was his job to, as you might garner, to advocate for children. And when I met Byrne, I was a child, and I wanted to do something, and a bunch of people said that I shouldn't or couldn't or wouldn't or whatever. And Byrne advocated on my behalf, and he did a fine job, and I wound up doing what I set out to do. I can go on at length about that, and a lot of it was good, and you know, maybe some of it was a little bit unconventional, but it was pretty great. And so Byrne had a positive impact on my life. But one thing that Byrne brought along with his partner at the time, Leah, was kindness. And they would visit our family at our family restaurant, and then they'd visit our family at home. And Leah was the first person. She brought bread to our house. She had baked some, I think it was challah bread. It was beautiful. I remember that when maybe it was about 1977 or something. And they were real nice people. They'd come and visit, and the sense of a visit, you know, they'd visit our house and chat with my folks and my dad, and it was kind of fun. I liked it. Anyway, that's a person I want to talk about. Byrne, he's great. Where this is going though is this. Can you see this? Maybe I should bring it closer. I'm gonna. This is a book. Okay, this is a book, No Great Mischief. And this book is by a gentleman named Aleister McLeod. And I constantly, in a Freudian or an error, I call him Aleister McLean. Especially when sometimes I'm speaking with a friend of mine, and my friend corrects me that his man's name's Aleister McLeod. And later on in my life recently, not that recently, it's years ago, but when you're older, everything seems recent. But years ago, I had dinner with Aleister, and we didn't really talk about the book, and it was mostly coincidence because I happened to be at the restaurant that he happened to be, and his table happened to have seats, and no other table had seats, and it was just that kind of place where you could sit with somebody else, and it was great. Okay, this book, okay. This is a really great book. It's so good that when it came out, our national newspaper gave 2 pages, I mean like a double spread, to talk about this book and Aleister, and how really it's a great book. You should read it. I don't want to completely spoil it for you, but the theme of the book is love. And the resounding chorus of the book is that all of us, we are all better when we are loved. Okay. That's the book. That's the theme. There you go. Now, I saw something in the paper today that is related to this idea where we've been discussing economics, items from the field of economics, and how it relates to everyday life. And the thing that I came across was that with Hurricane Ian, and say in Nova Scotia, Canada, Hurricane Fiona, and hurricanes in general and climate change in general, which is real, and it's driven by anthropomorphic, man-made, human-made emissions. Make no mistake, don't allow yourself to get sucked into some discussion about, the cause and effect or such. Just grab that. Okay, that's a fact. All right. And what this piece said was that insurers are having a difficult time pricing, like assigning a value to hurricanes, to climate change damage, pricing climate change into the models for insurance. Now, okay, I have a little tiny bit of a problem with that, and I'll explain. The problem that I have with it comes from this book, okay? The book is the theme. We are all better when we are loved. Okay, now imagine that you're a family and you've lost your house, you've lost your family pet, you've lost a child, you've lost a parent, you've lost a loved one. The insurer's response is, well, first of all, their response is to try to come up with an argument about why they're in no way responsible and it's not covered, but their real response is to assign a monetary value to this circumstance. And the problem with assigning a monetary value, and it's good because it's a good thing to assign a monetary value, but in a way, because you have an intractable problem that must be solved. And how do you solve it? Well, in the absence of a solution, you solve it with money. Okay, but the problem with assigning the monetary value is that you can't put a price on love, and you can't put a price on people. And a political leader in Canada recently, like 2 years ago, stood in front of the cameras and he said, how do you price, what's the value of a single human life? Okay, well, if that's your mindset, that's good. It's good that you're even thinking that way. Okay, now the problem with this idea of the insurance is that insurance becomes a solution or a manner of dealing with something rather than addressing the root cause of the problem. Okay, so for example, if you're walking down the street and you trip on a sidewalk that is poorly installed or poorly designed, or you get run over by a car, then the response is that the insurance company will step in, or the city's insurer, there'll be money, will exchange hands. The money is money, but it doesn't fix the real problem. And rather than addressing the problem of misshapen sidewalks or poor driving or poor enforcement of the traffic laws or a poor design of automobiles or you get it, rather than addressing the problem of climate change, what do? Is we just monetize it. We put money in there. And what that does is it creates unfairness, because the people that are impacted by climate change, the people that are impacted by these events, the people that are losing their homes, losing their country, I mean, this is a real thing. There's countries being lost to climate change, are not benefiting from the money. It doesn't help. And the money doesn't bring back your child that you've lost. So we have to, I mean, the idea of insurance and the money is good, because in the absence of anything else, at least that exists. However, we must not allow that to become a crutch and an excuse whereby we ignore the root of the problem, the real effort. Okay, what must we do? Okay, what we must do is have better everything. Okay. Earlier in these videos, I talked about this idea in economics of more, right? The ever-expanding human spectrum of wants and needs. But more is good. It's like the furnace or the the engine that drives our economy, that makes humans get out of bed in the morning. But more and more better. Hey, let's better. What does better mean? Remember I was talking about this criteria, and criteria changes and expands, and the things that we thought are important 150 years ago are no longer important today, or we recognize, the solutions we thought were solutions a long time ago, we recognize them as not being solutions today, and that's a big idea. It's a big deal, It's really really important. Like at one time it was like, well, let's take the garbage and burn it. You can't do that. Let's take the garbage and put it in a hole. Well, how big is that hole going to be? Let's take the garbage and send it off to space. Well, you can't do that. Well, how about let's not make garbage? And for sure, let's not make garbage that's going to last 1,000,000 years. All right? Criteria. Now, kind of got a little tiny bit sideways on my thought here, but because I was going to introduce this idea of government, because remember, there's three entities in a society or in an economy. There's the individual, there's the business, and then there's government. And the role of government is to maximize the well-being, the welfare of everyone, to balance competing interests. Okay, and an idea I was going to introduce was that governments do not spend money. Think of that. Your government does not spend money, or rather, at least, there's two specific kinds of governments. There are ones with progressive taxation, and they certainly do not spend money. Okay, and I can talk about that later, because a person's attention span is only so long. I recognize that, and we can't go on forever about stuff. But this idea of monetizing or the insurance as a money crutch, a financial crutch that allows us to sidestep the real issues, the real problem. I mean, like your roof's leaks, let's call the insurance company. Why not just have a better roof? Okay, that's it. Anyway, oh, by the way, do me a favor, please. If you like the videos, click the thumbs up and subscribe. If you don't like the videos, click the thumbs up and subscribe, and leave a comment and tell me why I'm wrong and kind of a dodo head. But anyway, thank you very much thanks for watching. If you watch the whole thing, great. And if you watch some of it, great. And anyway, great. Okay, and remember, we are all better when we are loved. There you go. Thanks. Bye.